So I think the title, whatever I title it, says it all. I didn't know I was going to do this, and I was just sat here. I mean, it's getting late, but I thought I would share my thoughts on this. So I saw an article online saying that they'd come to the decision and that it was going to be broadcast at 8 o'clock UK time. And I don't know what time I saw it, like at least half an hour before. I felt like I was like waiting for something, do you know, like I was waiting for something that would affect my life. Although, yeah, so I kept getting really nervous as well, and I'm like, why am I nervous? And I think it's because, like, Americans aren't the most intelligent. I mean, when it comes to certain things, like, I'm not saying they're stupid or anything, but sometimes they just don't make the right decision and don't look at the facts. So I'm guessing the jury were highly intelligent and actually saw the way she was acting in court. I mean, they've had to sit there for 6 weeks watching it. I don't know if I could do that. I honestly don't. But yeah, I was just really nervous about it, and I can't explain why. I was just really nervous. And then when they initially came back in, if you didn't see it, they came in and then the judge was reading the verdict, and then she called the lawyers across from both sides, and then she basically said that the jury had to go back out because they'd not put any figures in the, like, what they were going to award to who and how much. So they got sent back out, and I'm guessing they'd already decided on the amounts because they came back in, what was it, like 15 minutes later maximum. So obviously they had decided on the amounts beforehand and obviously just didn't fill it in. So they came back in, and then when it was read out to the court, every time, like, they basically, like, read the statement and then said, like, if the jury found it true or not, and every time they said yeah, I just got more and more emotional. Like, now, like, you know, when you can feel it building up, like, in your throat and also in your eyes, when your eyes are, like, getting ready to cry and you've got that, like, sensation in your eyes and you're trying to not cry. That's what was happening every time. So, I mean, imagine how he feels. Like, it's not even about me, and it's not about anyone other than him and her, really. I know it's affected people in his lives, but, you know, he is the victim in all of this. And I know she won on one thing, but the thing that she won on is something that his lawyer at the time said. Now, it wasn't Johnny's comments, it was actually his lawyer's comments, but obviously he's being sued for it by her because she's saying, like, it affected whatever it affected. I mean, it may have done, it may not have done, but obviously the jury decided that it did, and they've given her 2 million for that. But then again, she's got to give him 15, so who's she going to call? Because I think everyone who may have given money to give to him has hopefully seen the real her. So I was worried because of what she's like. People like that are convincing. They tell these stories and they do it for whatever reason. Obviously, she was doing it to punish him for getting rid of her, to punish him to stop him from having a career because she's clearly jealous of his career. She's trying to make him out to be someone he's not so she could be a victim because she wants to be a victim. Now, even victims don't want to be victims, so why would you make yourself a victim? If you've ever had anything bad done to you, I mean, some people might want to just live by the fact that they're victims, but the majority of victims don't want to be victims. They don't want to be referred as victims. They don't want people always thinking of them as these victims because of things that have happened to them. They want to be who they are, not of what's happened to them. They don't want to be defined by what's happened to them. So the fact this woman is making herself to be this victim and constantly telling different stories about what's happened and changing the story every single time and adding more and more new things, that is not normal. Now, obviously, sociopaths are like that. They want to be victims, they want people to feel sorry for them, they want people to turn on whoever it is that they're accusing of being this person that they're not. And they're convincing. They are so convincing. Obviously, she really messed up in court, and we got to see it. If it weren't televised, we wouldn't be able to see it, and I think it would have been reported on differently, because journalists have a way of reporting on things that aren't quite the same as what's actually happening. So, but there are people like that, and they are convincing, and they tell people things that aren't true, and then these people go around thinking all these things aren't true and get involved in situations and act out towards people, or even carry on repeating the lies to other people and saying things like, this person told me this and this and this and this has happened, and then they get other people involved, and before you know it, loads of people are involved thinking one thing or several things have happened when they haven't actually happened, and then they start targeting someone like he's been targeted. He's been made out to be someone that he's not. He's lost work from it. He's had people thinking he's this person that he isn't. And I've always said that if he was like that with her, he would have been like that previously. So normally when someone comes forward and says this happened, normally someone else will come forward and go, well, he did it to me as well, and then maybe someone else. So the fact that no one else has come forward and said that he's acted this way towards them, that speaks volumes, because, yeah, not everyone wants to be the person that stands up and says it, but if he had been this abuser and they saw what she was having to go through in court and the things she was having to say and go over again and again, someone would come out the woodwork and go, well, actually, he did it to me. But no one's ever actually done that. But she is convincing. And even when she was being called out as being a liar in court, when she got caught, she would just ignore whoever was saying it to her and just carry on addressing the jury and telling these elaborate stories pertaining to be this victim that she isn't. So I'm glad she didn't win. I'm glad that the jury actually saw through her act, and I'm glad that he is now being cleared, which he should never have had to go through in the first place. But she's caused all this. She just couldn't let go. She couldn't let go of the fact that he had had enough. He didn't want to be with her. So she made herself out to be a victim, to take him down as some kind of punishment, which is sick. It's disgusting. But sadly, people do that. But obviously this is to a much bigger level, but people do mess with people's lives. People do tell people lies about someone who's done nothing, and they have their own reasons why they've done it. Like, everyone's different. Everyone's going to have different reasons why they've torn someone's life apart and victimised themselves and made this person out to be this big bad person when actually they've done nothing other than say enough's enough and try to stop what was happening. So I'm glad he got his justice. I'm glad that everyone saw what she was like and saw how she was acting in court. Even if, he didn't get the verdict that he wanted, I think he won everyone over regardless. I think everyone saw that he's not going to put himself on the stand and come and have to talk about things like his private life that he normally keeps very private, and he's had to reveal things about his addictions and the way that he's behaved and things that he's gotten up to, and he obviously didn't take that lightly, because you wouldn't just put yourself out there unless you really, really wanted the truth to come out, which thankfully he's managed to do. So I hope he enjoys his time on stage in Newcastle tonight. This video isn't going to go up today or tomorrow morning because I've got a video scheduled, but it'll probably go up Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It'll go up one of those days, but I'm filming it. It's now 26 minutes past 9 on the 1st of June. I was going to say September then. God, it only feels like it was like February, March last week anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up tomorrow and it was September, but yeah. The truth always comes out in the end, and I'm glad the truth always comes out in the end, and I'm glad that people like Amber eventually come unstuck. She's managed to keep up this for a long time, but it just shows that eventually sociopaths, psychopaths, people with split personalities, all of that, they eventually get exposed and the truth does come out. And I hope all these people that stuck up for her and believed her story, although obviously there's not that many, but there was enough to make some kind of noise, because obviously he lost his Disney contract for it. I hope all these people see what they've done and feel like shit now, because obviously he's proved she was the liar and he was the victim. And I hope that everyone who sided with her, or there was consequences to his actions or her actions, I hope they all realise what they've done and what they believed and what they shouldn't have believed. So, there you go. And it's funny when they read out the statements and the camera was on her. She just had that look on her face throughout the trial, so it wasn't anything new. And I remember just before it got read out, she was rubbing her eyes, and I'm thinking, is she putting, you know, that stuff that makes you cry that actors use who can't cry on cue? I'm thinking, is she rubbing that into her eyes just so she can cry? But even then, she couldn't cry. I bet she's furious. I bet, well, they're obviously going to try and, like when the her lawyer, she called Elaine, the doddery one, she asked for the jury to, like, do their individual votes, and then obviously they found that everyone agreed. But obviously they're going to try and get the verdict thrown out and all that. They're going to come up with whatever they can to get it thrown out. But yeah, I bet everyone's relieved. I'm relieved. I'm happy that the truth does come out in the end and that people like Amber are exposed. And it's only a matter of time, really. And I think I'm going to sleep a lot lighter tonight because of that. And I'm sure Johnny's probably having the time of his life because he's happy. And he proved everything. And Amber's probably practicing her faces in the mirror. Won't put it past her. She's probably taking it out on someone. I can just imagine that, actually. Because people like that do. But yeah, I'm happy. I was really emotional. I don't know why. I just don't get it. Maybe lots of people were emotional. People actually sat and watched it all. Even if I had the time to do it, I just don't think I'd have the patience to do it. I watched bits and pieces and I caught up on someone I watched on here who would just like do a recap and stuff. But good news all around, and I'm so happy that with the verdict. So there's my final thought on it. And it'll be interesting to see what move she makes next, because I do believe they're going to try and get the judgment kicked out and blame the judge or the jury, or blame that there's cameras in there, or blame whatever. I wouldn't expect anything less from someone like that. But yeah, obviously she does like do a counter thing and tries to like turn it around and get it kicked out or whatever. I might do a video, I might not. I mean, can't be bothered with people like Amber Heard. Really can't.